El Salvador is going to finally be the first country in the world to accept Bitcoin as legal tender. This is the first step towards possibly sovereign money flowing, cascading into Bitcoin, which in the long run has a lot of knock-on effects. I'm going to talk about each one of those as we go throughout this video and try to explain, as the crypto rookie, how this could help the entire community, the value of Bitcoin, the support of Bitcoin, and the long-term future of the currency in itself. But remember, hit that subscribe button thing, which is down below, right? I am the crypto rookie, and as I learn things as a crypto rookie, I will teach you what it means, how this can affect you, and you can document your experience of cryptocurrency this year along with me. This is my very first crypto bull market, and I've been going up and down with it since January. So I'm starting to feel the pain and realize the education that it's giving me at the same time. I'm experiencing the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and starting to recover in the process. So, El Salvador. Now, this obviously isn't a huge country. In fact, it's a country that can be marred with controversy, can be marred with monetary issues, has adopted the US dollar previously because of failed currencies, but them signing into law very recently, as in today, I believe, or yesterday, the idea of Bitcoin as a official currency now means that it has to be accepted within that country, which also means that people that want to spend it have to start buying it to then spend it. Now, they have noted that it will only be used for everyday to day use. And when it comes to business accounting would still be placed in the value of US dollars. So you'd still value a business or a service within US dollars, but you would then purchase stuff within Bitcoin. But it now has to be accepted within that country if you choose to buy within that. Now, what that will mean is there will be infrastructure that will come about that have to be put in place to prove that this can work. Now, does this mean that El Salvador kind of teams up with the Lightning network to make sure that it's faster, that it processes faster? Is this a giant case study so we can see what Bitcoin debit cards look like, the processing systems? Because at the moment, you could be waiting anywhere between 5 and 30 minutes for a Bitcoin block to kind of resolve itself. Do you really want to buy something and be stood in a shop for half hour to see if you own that packet of crisp? So all of those are going to be in place. But as soon as El Salvador announced that this is a possibility, there was rumblings that places like Paraguay and possibly Brazil are keeping an eye on this kind of thing. This is the first step towards a cryptocurrency, a digital currency being adopted as standard. Now, we've got something similar bubbling under the surface with ADA, with Ethiopia and their general banking of the bankless in that area. So there is the start of movements towards making cryptocurrency standard. And let's be honest, most of the time nowadays you're just using your bank card. You're not using a hole in the wall and getting as much cash out physically as much as you used to be. And people are getting used to their bank account and their wealth being a number on a screen. So we're not too far away from the idea of that number on a screen being denoted in Bitcoin or ADA or stable coins or a mix between the two. So what this means is that if sovereign money in El Salvador is willing to start piling money in, and their economy isn't huge, but even that, a few hundred billion maybe, needs to then be processed by them into the currency. What this does is it raises the baseline, it raises the water level. In other words, that currency, that country needs to flow its entire economy through that. So at the moment, we're looking at maybe, I think it's around about 2 trillion-ish in cryptocurrency, right, throughout the world that is currently bimbling around the entire marketplace. Now, if El Salvador has to commit its millions or billions, that then continues to stay in a currency and continues to rotate, especially if they're accepting Bitcoin as payment. You're not going to be moving it out of Bitcoin into ADA to spend it in ADA. It's going to have to be in Bitcoin if you're going to be processing these payments in El Salvador, which then means that those Bitcoins are locked away or their volume is rotating throughout the system, which then basically means that the base level rises. In other words, at the moment, everyone that's bought recently and seen it go up and down, you'll notice that there are resistance levels. These are levels in which people have bought it heavily at certain bands. So you'll notice that recently we bounced off the 30,000 level, and for a very long time it was at 33 and 37 and 42 and 46, and then we was bouncing up against 57, right? And we couldn't really break above 60 until we hit 64, and then we had, right? Anytime it takes a while to crash up or crash down past a level, that is a resistance level. What that means is someone's bought a load of Bitcoin at that level. When I say someone, I mean vast amounts of people are buying Bitcoin at that level. And then it takes a while for those numbers to not bounce the value. In other words, because so many people have bought it at 30,000, the intrinsic value of that asset remains stuck at 30,000 until enough on average kind of outbalances it, and then it drives it down. Now, that can mean that it's undervalued, or if it's overinflated, it can be overvalued, but overall there'll be an average. There'll be somewhere that resists consistently. Now, at the moment, it's driven by hedge funds and investments and retail investors and people that are whales and stuff like that. But if El Salvador comes in, then that's that entire ecosystem, that entire economy of that country that has to remain in that currency to function. Now, if you add El Salvador and you add Brazil, which is huge, and you add Paraguay as huge case studies, and other people can see that that's working, then there are other countries out there that are semi-forced to adopt the US currency that may flit, or may be struggling within the euro, say Greece, for example, and might choose to flit into a cryptocurrency. And if they've seen Bitcoin work elsewhere, or they've seen ADA work elsewhere in, say, like Ethiopia, right, then it becomes more accepted, less weird and more, oh yeah, but they do it. And that's where it could cause a cascading effect. It's not just one country now. It's not just one load of sovereign wealth. It's 2 or 3 countries, 4 countries, 5 countries. Imagine if the state of California, which if it was a country in its own right, could be something stupid like the 4th, 5th richest country in the world. Imagine if their entire economy flipped and then dedicated itself to Bitcoin. Now, these are the early signs. This is a sign that in the long run, for 12 years' time, that bigger economies may start accepting this as a possibility. The idea of, okay, you've got to think, I'm based in the UK, right? So I've lived through the era where, when I was younger, when you went to France, you picked up the French franc. And when you went to Germany, you picked up the, I can't remember what it was now. And then in India, it's the ruble. And then it's the Turkish lira and the Spanish kabluk, whatever it was, right? But then they all merged under the euro, right? And then that monetary sense, it took a while for them to adjust, to understand what the euro was and the value of the euro. But how is that any different than 5, 10, 20, 30 countries saying, okay, we're not going to use the US dollar anymore because our economy failed, so we adopted the US dollar, or we're not going to use the South African rand, or it happens to be because the government can't take control of it, it's running rampant and inflation and blah, blah. How about we dedicate and flip, and then the value is intrinsic based on what this will help with as well as the more sovereign money is in, the less it can be withdrawn so aggressively by whales to dump the price, and in turn making it more stable. And the more stable it is, the more of a currency it can become. So, how important is El Salvador declaring that it's going to go all in on Bitcoin, it's first mover advantage. Also, they're going out of their way to say that they might be using geothermal electricity to mine for it. They've got loads of volcanoes. Why not use that to mine? That's your currency now. Why would you not do that? If you dedicated your entire country, for example, to our currency is now gold, you'd go out and try and mine gold to bring that sovereign wealth back. Now, if you are the first country to ever dedicate yourself to a currency, that's effectively fiscal stimulus by you pumping up, getting some Bitcoin miners and leading your way forward. How important is El Salvador? Right now, not hugely. But in the long tale of history, this could be the first step that we all look back on and realize, it was them that started the domino effects. Now, which dominoes will fall next? If you like this video, and if you want to hear more from me explaining how things happen to be from a crypto rookie to the world, hit subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you're alerted every time I upload a video, and check out this video here because YouTube really wants you to watch it. I'll see you soon. Ready?